that, we'll get started. Thank you.
This is the life, eh, Mo?
Oh, Ratty, yes indeed it is. I can't think of anything else I'd rather be doing.
Me neither, down by the riverside.
Enjoying this amazing picnic. I lost my napkin.
Cold chicken, cold tongue, cold ham, cold beef, pickled gherkin, salad, French rolls, cress sandwiches, potted meat, ginger beer, and lemonade soda water.
Yum, 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 yum.
Ah! Food! I thought I smelled something in the air. Now, let me see.
Oh, do join us, Toad. We wondered what was keeping you.
Oh, hadn't you heard?
There you are.
I told you he'd be here.
Would you mind introducing your two friends?
Oh, I'm not sure he'd think of me quite like that. I did, after all, keep him under lock and key for some time.
Oh, we've had to do that too.
Good.
Yeah, well, I'm guessing where you kept him was a lot more comfortable than where I kept him. In jail.
Meet my jailer.
And your friend who got you out.
Much obliged, ma'am.
I must say, seeing you in my clothes was a right giggle.
What saved his life? Escaping as he did in disguise, he never would have survived a life sentence in that jail.
Ah, indeed not, foolish creature. Fancy getting himself into all that mess.
Oh, now, Badger, don't be too harsh. He did learn his lesson.
Toad, learn his lesson? I don't think so, not with his...
More sandwiches? Anyone? Anyone?
You're way too soft on him, Mo.
Hello, I'm standing right here, you know.
Taking advantage of your friends, as usual.
Well, you don't seem to be doing so badly yourself.
Well,
Good sandwiches?
oh, indeed they are. You certainly know how to put together a fine picnic, Ratty.
Well, thank you. This old brain of mine does have its uses.
Such a clever animal.
And just as well, some of the scrapes you've got yourself into.
Oh, we all know about those. Stealing a car and driving it with no thought to the safety of others.
So that's Toad to a T.
Whatever do you mean?
Just that 9 times out of 10, you think of number 1 first.
Whoa, wait a minute, that's way too many numbers.
Let me put it to you simply. You are one selfish, conceited creature.
Oh, Badger, must you? We're having such a lovely day and having such a fine time here by the river.
Yeah, we were having such a fine time. Talk about two's company.
Well, I'm sorry to have disturbed your peace and quiet.
You did that all right.
Well, I'll be on my way. I know when I'm not wanted.
Oh, don't go, Toad.
That took a lot of persuading.
Amazing what one can put up with when there's so much good food around.
To say nothing of the fine company, of course.
Indeed. Let's all sit here.
And make the most of Ratty's generosity.
Oh, Ratty is generous to a fault.
Oh, he certainly is. I can't help feeling that certain folk here just don't realize how lucky they are having him for a friend.
Toad, don't you have something to say?
Me? I always have something to say. Washerwoman, that wonderful woman over there.
Yes, well, of that there is no doubt. But is it worth listening to? No, I could tell you some.
I could tell you some tales.
Oh, I told you I was going to forget my lines. I can tell you some tales, I could, all right. Let's get started.
Oh, what fun. Do tell.
Yes, I sometimes feel I may be a little out of touch with the outside world. I'm ready to listen.
And you know, for once, I am too. Let's hear about your adventures, Toad, while the rest of us get on with this delicious picnic.
Oh my, there's nothing like going on a holiday with friends.
Well, I can't believe that you talked Ratty and Mole into going with you.
I can't believe I got talked into it either.
If only we'd known what was coming.
I don't suppose then you would have gone.
A very unwise choice.
Now, I was merely trying to rescue my friends from their lives of boredom
Oh,
and...
don't give me that, Toad. I, for one, have always been perfectly content with my life on the river.
Well said, sir. Not everyone wants to risk life and limb just for a bit of adventure.
A bit of adventure? Oh, this went way beyond that. What is wrong with you people? How can you not want a little excitement?
And danger, and putting the lives of others at stake.
You know, Toad, you really are impetuous at times.
You can say that again.
You really are.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I can see why you all love this friend of yours. He certainly has plenty of charm.
I can hear a butt coming.
But, well, I'm not sure I'd go on holiday with them.
Madam! How dare you? That butt was totally out of order. How dare you?
Well, I happen to agree with her.
How could you, Randy?
May I remind you what happened on the so-called holiday, which I swear I never agreed to?
Well, it did all happen rather quickly, didn't it? 1 minute, we were standing there admiring Toad Hall.
And the next minute, we were in the back of that gypsy caravan. How did that happen?
Oh, our friend here can be very persuasive.
Quite the charmer, I know.
Beats me how you folk fall for such rogues.
So, please don't tell me there's more than one Toad.
Oh, one is quite enough.
I don't think we could cope with 2.
There can only be one Toad. How lucky for all of you that he's standing right here in front of you.
How lucky indeed. So, come on. Tell us about the rest of your wonderful holiday.
Yes, I can't wait to hear.
Though I've got a pretty good idea what's coming.
Oh, you have you?
Come on, Toad. It doesn't take much to work out there was no happy ending to this particular story.
But it all started out so perfectly.
Most of your adventures do.
It's just that they tend to nosedive rather quickly.
Oh, but in that such style, come on you two, you have to admit, it was pretty spectacular.
Stop that right now.
Oh, you can always be such a spoiled sport sometimes, Badger.
What about you, you foolish, self-centered, impetuous?
Reckless, egotistical.
And perhaps just a little rash.
I'm not sure that quite covers it.
I'll say not. I mean, who else could behave like you, Toad, and hope to get away with it?
But that motor coach, that motor car, that magnificent motor car.
Yes, that ran us off the road.
Leaving our caravan in a ditch.
Scoundrels, road hogs, villains.
Vroom, vroom.
You and your vroom vroom. Do you never learn?
Oh, what? How amazing those four-wheeled masters of the road are.
Nearly got us killed.
And certainly put an end to our holiday.
Oh, but was it worth it?
Vroom, 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 you silly creature. And just for the record, that's the last time I go on holiday with you.
Oh, you don't mean it, Bratty.
I most certainly do.
And did he learn his lesson?
Oh dear, I'd love to say yes.
I think we all know what the answer is.
No, he most certainly didn't.
And that we will hear about in due course. But that's quite enough action for the moment, don't we all agree?
Yes.
May I suggest that we all have a nice quiet nap before we hear the next adventure.
What was that?
What's the matter, Mo?
Didn't you hear it?
Hear what?
Those noises.
Oh, all in your imagination, my dear fellow.
No, I'll swear.
There, Molly. It's just another one of those dreams you keep having.
Poor dear, what kind of dreams are these?
Well, it all goes back to when I was lost in the wild wood.
Oh my, that's not a good place to get lost.
Oh, it certainly isn't. All those stoats and weasels out there.
But there's nothing to worry about now. Here with us, Molly.
Yeah, no indeed. You are with friends. No harm can come to you.
But I do so wish I didn't keep having this dream about the faces, the whistling, the pattering.
Oh, you poor sweetheart, that would be enough to keep anyone awake.
Too right.
Oh, a pity you couldn't find room in your jail to confine those horrible stoats and weasels. The vermin, the lot of them.
Toad, that's not really helping.
So pardon me for asking, what actually happened?
What awful experience has left you feeling so scared?
Oh dear. Well, it really was all my fault.
Hey, we all make mistakes.
I can vouch for that.
Molly's fault was being a little...
Impatient. That's what it was. I should have waited and gone with you, Ratty.
You should indeed, Molly. But it was rather sweet that you wanted to meet me so badly.
Oh, I simply couldn't wait. And that proved my undoing.
Lucky Ratty realized that you were up too.
Indeed. What a great friend and savior you proved to be.
But seriously, Molly, what were you thinking setting off like that without a clue where you were going?
Well, I knew Badger lived in the wild wood, but somewhere.
But, Molly, the wild wood is so huge.
To say nothing about the dangers that are lurking out there.
Oh, to think what a lucky escape I had.
There, lovely don't take on so.
And you needn't tell us you've never done anything without thinking it through properly first.
Well,
But you know full well that you do that kind of thing all the time. At least Mole here doesn't make a habit of it.
Anyway, that's as may be, but do tell us what happened. If it's not too upsetting, that is.
No, it's all right.
My friend is very brave.
Well, I certainly didn't feel brave in the wild wood late at night. First there were the faces, the whistling, the pattering.
Oh, you poor dear, how terrifying for you.
I certainly wouldn't have wanted to be out there in the cold all alone. Well, almost all alone.
oh dear, and to think that I wasn't anywhere near to rescue you.
I rather think that at first face, you would have run a mile.
Oh, I can assure you I would have done no such thing.
Of course you wouldn't, Toady. I know that.
You'd have shown them, wouldn't you, Toad?
Of course, you know me.
It just so happens we do. How about we tell these good folk how and why we know you?
Oh.
That is.
I'm sure that's not really that necessary.
Oh, I think it is, Toad. All this talk of bravery and showing by example.
Yes, we simply can't wait to hear the next story.
Oh, go on, Toad. At least it will take my mind off of that horrible wild wood episode.
Oh, very well, Molly. Anything for you, since you are one of the very few to ever stand up for me.
I wonder why. Way too kind, Mole.
So come on, Toad, let's hear it. We just can't wait.
Well now, where should I start? So much bravery, so much courage, sheer brilliance.
Toad, stick to the facts.
Oh, I thought I was. Oh, very well.
How about you tell us all about the time that you ended up with me in jail?
Oh, is this really necessary? I mean, it seems a shame to sully such an impeccable reputation as mine.
Impeccable reputation. You, Toad? Oh, come on. Who are you trying to kid?
One of these days, Toad, you will wake up to who you are.
Well,
Oh, don't take it to heart, Toad. Though you did turn your back on all of our attempts to help you.
attempts to help me? Why, by locking me up in my own home?
How else were we meant to keep you out of trouble?
It still didn't take you very long to find yourself in trouble again anyways, ending up as my prisoner.
Oh, just a bit of bad luck, that's all.
What? Stealing that motor car?
Driving at crazy high speeds.
And then?
You mean there's more?
More.
Toad.
I'll say there's more. Only gross impertinence to the rural police. Yes, indeed. And if that's not enough to get you locked up for some hefty period of time, nothing else will.
Toad, that is shocking even by your standards.
How did you think you'd get away with it?
Well, I didn't. Satisfied everybody?
You most certainly didn't. A 20-year jail sentence.
Oh.
And totally deserved.
No, sir. I most certainly can't agree. No creature should be subjected to that.
And what exactly do you mean by that?
Oh, no criticism of your wonderfully high standards of hospitality.
I should think not. Though he was very loath to take what food was offered to him.
Ha ha, you should have seen it.
Toad, manners! Oh, I forgot. You don't have it.
'Tis true, Mr. Toad. There I was, ready to throw you a lifeline. Maybe I should have thought twice about that. My friend was only doing her job.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's that mouth again, getting the better of me.
Well, fortunately for you, I had a kind heart and could see how much you were suffering.
Indeed, I was. In silence, of course.
I'd hardly say that. But she managed to work some kind of magic on my friend here. And the next thing I knew,
I was gone. Sheer brilliance. Who else but the great Toad could have engineered such an escape?
I think you're forgetting something.
and somebody, my friend, without her help, you'd still be in jail.
Oh, well, I suppose those clothes you lent me did play some part of getting me out.
Nobody was going to recognize you in washerwoman clothes.
Yeah, you must think that you cut a rather fine figure even as a woman, but you're a vain, conceited creature. I can't think of many others who boast about being dressed as a washerwoman. No offense, ma'am. But those clothes do look a lot better on you.
Well, thank you, kind sir.
But back to the story.
Ah, yes. So, my next miraculous escape was on a train, pursued by the police.
Well, it didn't take us long to notice that you were missing.
But I got away. Once again, what brilliance!
You mean what luck? What with that train driver taking pity on you?
Oh, indeed. But leaping off that train, my, that was an act of dazzling courage and bravery and guts and...
Toad, the train was standing still, wasn't it?
Details, details. Why must you always praise me with details?
But we want the truth, Toad.
Well-
Not some made-up fantasy that you're going to give to us.
Well, there was nothing pleasant about that night in the wood.
Oh, I can so sympathize.
But you had yet another woman come to your rescue the next day.
Oh, that barge woman.
Yes, that barge woman. You wouldn't have gotten far without her.
And how did you repay her kindness?
Well,
Oh, save us any more made-up stories. You lied to her, and then, on being found out, insulted her in the worst possible way.
What, by calling her a common, low, fat barge woman?
Oh, Toad, how could you?
Oh, but she was common, low, and fat.
Way enough! You incorrigible, insolent creature! I trust you. She threw you off her boat.
Indeed she did. But Toad is not to be treated in such a way without some payback. I stole her horse.
You did what?
I stole her horse, then I sold it for a pretty profit. Brilliant or what?
And then?
Oh dear, how much more is there? I just don't think I can take it.
I suggest you cover your ears, dear Mole. There's still more to come.
Of course.
Oh, and your next crime? Oh, yes, to drive and wreck yet another motor car.
What? Oh, Toad, when will you ever learn?
But Mole, you don't understand when I'm behind that steering wheel.
Oh, we understand, all right. You have no regard for others.
You mean those others in the car?
Well, who kindly offered you a lift. What do you think, that crashing their car was the right way to repay their kindness?
But it wasn't deliberate, it was a mistake.
Oh, it always is with you. So go on. What happened next?
Oh, I just made yet another brilliant escape.
What, you mean from those pursuing you?
Oh, those wretched rural police, correct. They get everywhere.
Shocking how some folk earn their living.
Oh, but quite so, to pursue me to within an inch of my life. Disgraceful.
Shocking!
And yet you didn't end up back with my friend. Who bailed you out this time?
Well, it's this fine athlete of a person, of a Toad right in front of you that you're looking at.
Where? Do tell.
Well, right in front of you.
I see no fine athlete. And all I saw on that fateful day was a very bedraggled, about to drown, out of breath Toad.
Oh, how you exaggerate, Ratty.
I don't think so, Toad. Come on, admit. You were rescued by your friend.
Yet again.
And I would love to say, for the last time, but we all know that that's not likely.
Oh, Badger, I might make a few mistakes along the way,
Well, a few?
but I always learn from them.
You really? And so you reckon you could get by rather nicely without your friends here?
Indeed, I am truly independent, resilient Toad.
And you have got your home back from those stoats and weasels?
Without our help?
Well,
Shame on you, Toad. You know full well you wouldn't have.
Ah, another story.
And let's hope this one has a happy ending, as I don't know about you good folk, but some of us around here have to get back to work. Something tells me this story could get a bit lively.
Oh, I hope there is no violence. I really don't like that kind of thing.
oh, don't you go worrying over that. Take a look at this fine figure in front of you. How could any harm come to you with me around?
Is that with or without my washerwoman clothes on?
Well, really?
Oh, you really were quite amazingly brave, Toad.
Really? Well, this we must hear.
Amazing what qualities you find within yourself when you are defending what is yours.
My home! Toad Hall! How dare those weasels and stoats and no-gooders invade my property?
But they all did, because you were not there to defend it.
Oh dear, don't tell me. Was this when he was off stealing and driving fast cars and generally getting himself into a whole lot of trouble?
Yeah, that would be about right.
Oh, woe is me to think how I was punished.
You got off ridiculously light.
Got off light? I don't think so. There was no end to my suffering at the hands of those merciless and that cruel law.
That you broke? Let's not forget that. My friend didn't have you inside for nothing.
Well, maybe just a couple of minor misdemeanors.
Minor misdemeanors? I don't think so.
You know, Toad, I do sometimes wonder if you're living on the same planet with the rest of us.
You were in jail for serious crimes: stealing, driving recklessly, being rude to the police.
Oh, I know. We've been through all this before, but my crimes were nothing compared to those of the stoats and the weasels taking over my home.
Well, they weren't expecting you back.
No, but we sure showed them, huh?
What? By storming up to that ferret on the gates and demanding he leave?
Well, how was I to know he had a gun?
As always, acting on a well-thought-out plan.
Just as well you have the brains of the rest of us on your side.
Your lifelong friends, where would you be without us?
Well, I suppose you deserve some credit.
Some credit! Why, you conceited, arrogant creature! Will you ever learn? You'd still be homeless if it wasn't for us.
Well, we did help a bit.
A bit? Oh, really? I can think at least one time when our plan to rescue Toad Hall was scuppered by his efforts.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm truly sorry. You're right, I'm wrong.
Ooh, can I have that in writing, please?
Oh, throw him some slack, Badger. We all know he has his faults.
Indeed we do. And we couldn't just sit back and let those villainous vermin take Toad Hall.
So how did you get rid of them? There were so many of them and so few of you.
Aha! That's when brains come in handy. Plus, a little knowledge I happen to have regarding the underground passage that took us right to the banqueting hall, where we took them by surprise.
But we'd never have succeeded without Mo.
Oh, bless him. Don't tell me he took on those stoats single-handed.
Yeah, I don't think so. I wouldn't have gotten very far at all. Not even with all those swords and pistols and knives.
Yeah. No, but it was your brains that saved the day. How else would we have taken on that number of stoats and weasels and succeeded?
I think you're forgetting I was there.
Oh, do be quiet for once, Toad. You really can't bear being out of the limelight, can you? Not for 1 second.
But
Shush, foolish creature, and listen to what wise Mole did.
Oh, it was really nothing.
Well, that's not what I heard. Using my clothes to disguise yourself and fooling those sentries into thinking a whole army of badgers, rats, and toads would be attacking that night?
That took brains and courage.
And did the trick quite nicely. When we got to that banquet, using the underground passage, not only did we take them by surprise,
But we scared them witless.
indeed, it was a total pushover.
Well, I wouldn't go quite so far as to say that.
But I would, and I do. No fiendish force could withstand the might of Toad in his prime. You should have seen me.
enough! We don't want to hear any more. Now, we're all sitting here, standing about happily and healthily today, enjoying Ratty's magnificent picnic.
Bravo, Ratty.
I think I say thank you on behalf of all of us here today. You wonderful Ratty, you.
The pleasure's all mine to be surrounded by such a fine set of friends.
But sadly, my friend and I must now go and leave you good riverbank folk.
We've had the most wonderful time. Thank you so much.
The least I could do.
I think that thank you was to all of us.
Oh, indeed, of course. Silly me, forgetting myself again.
Doubtless not for the last time. Still,
Happy times, eh, everybody?